Shalom again. This is Rabbi Shlomo first, temporarily substituting for Rabbi Reuven Leder, who's taking care of some important business in Yeshiva. We're learning Gemora now. Bava Kamma, Daf Mem Zayin, Amid Aleph. Here you see the Tsama Nafshi. Where should we begin? Want to do the Mishnah? Yeah, we said we'd do the Mishnah. That's very good. Perfect. Go ahead.
Hakadar shehich nis kede rosav lechatzer bal habayis shelo berishus. So a potter who brought his pots into the courtyard of the owner without permission. V'shavra behemto shel bal habayis, and the animal that belonged to the owner broke the pots. Potter.
Mm-hmm.
So the owner is potter. The owner does not have to pay the man the potter.
Good.
Ve'im huzka bahem, and if huzka damaged. Oh, and if the owner's animal was damaged by the pots.
Very good.
Bal ha-kederos chayiv. The owner of the pots is liable. He has to pay for the damage to the animal.
Very good.
Ve'im hich nis bereshus, and if he entered with permission. So now the same case, except in this case, the potter has permission to be there. Bal ha-chatzer chayiv. Then the animal is damaged. Then the animal damages the pots.
Mm-hmm.
Then the owner of the animal is liable. He has to pay for the damage to the pots.
I tell you, let's just review that, okay? Before we go to now, we're going to go to another case.
Okay.
Let's go over that again and do a little bit of analysis of what's going on, what's happening, what situations are we discussing.
Okay.
Yeah, read it again. A card there.
All right. So, should I read it or should I just summarize?
Whatever you prefer.
Let's just summarize.
Sure.
So if a person goes into somebody's courtyard without permission and he brings things with him, then the person is going to be liable. He's going to be obligated if something bad happens as a result of him bringing his things in there. But if something bad happens to him, like his things get damaged, then the owner has no responsibility. On the other hand, if the person goes in with permission, then the owner does have responsibility. So there seems to be an implicit understanding that by giving permission, the owner is assuming responsibility, which is not necessarily what you would think. You might think, okay, he gave permission, but that doesn't mean he's responsible. It might be that he gave permission, and therefore it's neutral. Why would you assume necessarily that because he gave permission, he also said, you're not responsible, I'm going to protect your stuff? It's not my stuff.
So we'll have to when we get further into it, what the giving of permission is going to actually indicate.
Right.
That's going to be the difference between the two halachas that we saw in the beginning of the Mishnah and the second part of the Mishnah.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But
Good. Yeah, sure.
Hichnis Perushav. Perusav. He enters with his produce.
Yes.
Lechatzer bal habayis, to somebody's courtyard. Shelo berishus, without permission. So now this is similar, except it's produce instead of pots.
Mm-hmm.
V'achal Katan, Behemto Shel Baal Habayis. And the animal of the owner of the courtyard eats the produce. Pater. The owner of the animal is not obligated to pay the owner of the produce for his loss of produce.
Right.
V'im who's ka bahem, and if he was damaged by them, so that's the animal. If the animal was damaged by the produce, Baal ha-peiros chayiv. The owner of the peiros is obligated. So, if the animal slips on the produce, breaks its leg, then the person who brought the produce in has to pay. Ve'im hichnis b'reshus. But if the owner of the produce came in with permission, Baal ha-chatzer chayiv. The owner of the courtyard is obligated, so he would have to. So that would be if the animal damages the produce.
Right.
If the animal eats the produce, then the owner of the courtyard has to pay for the loss of the produce. Ichnis shoro lechatzar Baal Habayis. So the ox, an ox came into the courtyard. Shalo reshus without permission. Une gacho shoro shel Baal Habayis, and the ox of the owner gores the ox that came in without permission. O sheneshacho kalbo shel Baal Habayis, or the dog of the owner bit it, I guess, bit the ox. Pater, the owner is exempt. So this seems like the same case. Either there's a goring or a biting. The owner is exempt. Nagach hu shoro shel Baal Habayis. Now, if the ox that came in without permission gores the ox that belongs to the Baal Habayis, chayiv, the owner of the trespassing ox is obligated. Nafal le boro v'hiv ish may mav. He fell.
This is the shore.
This is the shore that's trespassing.
Right, the invading shore.
He fell into a pit, he fell into a cistern. It says here.
Yeah, right. This is not right. The bore was like a well. Yeah, well, yeah. It's a pit, but in general, it could be a pit that usually has something stored in it. It most likely would be water.
Right, and it says and fouled up the water.
Exactly.
Chayiv. So the owner of the trespassing ox is obligated to repair or replace the water or fix up the pit.
Right.
Haya aviv o beno le tocho. It was his father or his son, tocho.
Within it, this is the bore. Now.
Oh, it was inside of it.
Yeah. Now, whether this is going to be a dry bore or a bore with a well, so it could be that we're now switching to a case where it's a dry well, meaning unless they happen to be doing some work in the water of the well.
Right, okay. So now the situation is that the trespassing ox falls into the pit, and the father or son of the homeowner is in there. Mishalem es ha-kofer. The owner of the trespassing ox has to pay kofer, which is an atonement payment.
Good. That's apparently because he killed one of them, right? Because if there's a death.
Right. Right.
Good.
Ve'im hichnis, if he entered the reshus. So now the trespassing ox is not trespassing anymore. It actually had permission to go in there. Baal ha-chatzer chayiv. The Baal ha-chatzer is liable. The owner of the courtyard is liable if something bad happens to the ox. Rebbe says, B'chulan eino chayiv. In all these cases, he's not chayiv. He's not liable. I guess that means the owner of the courtyard.
Owner of the courtyard, right?
Ad sheyikabel alav lishmor, unless that he accepted upon himself to be the guard, to be responsible for the ox, the visiting ox.
All right. Okay. So in all these cases, Rebbe at the very end of the Mishnah is going to be arguing, because we'll understand eventually the machlokas between the Tanakama and Rebbe. Tanakama is obligating simply because of permission being granted,
right.
And Rebbe is saying no. Permission being granted is not a what we call kabbalas achrayas, an acceptance upon of responsibility.
Right.
And simply being invited into the domain doesn't automatically obligate the owner of that domain in responsibility.
So it would seem on the surface that, forgetting about Rebbe for a second, the Reisha and the Seifa are basically saying the same thing. They're just giving two different examples of the same principle, which is that if it comes in without permission, then the owner it does not accept any responsibility, and the trespasser is responsible, and the owner is not responsible.
Right.
Bad things happen. Okay, so you could ask, why did we need the Reisha and the Seifa?
Okay, what are you referring to as the Reisha, and what's the Seifa?
The Reisha is the case where we have the potter,
Okay.
And the Seifa is the case where we have the ox.
Okay.
It seems like in the case of the potter, we're learning this lesson about the pottery, or the produce that he brought in.
Right. So even in the Reisha, you have two cases. You have a case in the Reisha of the pottery and the case of the fruits. You have really two cases now.
Right.
Okay. That's and then in the other case, you have when now you have a shore coming in.
So you have Reisha to Reisha, Seifa to Reisha.
Yeah.
But you only have Seifa. There's not two parts to the Seifa.
Or you could have maybe it's really three parts. The question is how can we make an analysis of this mission? Maybe we have a case of one Reisha. The Reisha would be the pots. The emtsoi, the middle case, would be the peiros, and the Sefer would be the shore. Sure.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. That's a
So,
good point.
that's something we can again. We can go over through the Mishnah again, or if you want on your own, you have to. This is a multifaceted Mishnah, and bring various different cases. Right. So it's going to be worthwhile doing some analysis of the Mishnah to break it down into an outline form.
Right.
And then we'll have to try and decide what the best way of outlining it is.
And then Rebbe's whole point is that the up until Rebbe, there seemed to be a presumption that giving permission was tantamount to accepting responsibility. And Rebbe says, no, that's not true. Giving permission does not mean you accept responsibility.
Good. Okay, so far so good.
Okay. Gemora?
Let's see, we have, there's one or two Rashis here, just at the top of Amid, in the Amid base, there's a second page, two Rashis.
Let's see, Mishnah. Haya aviv o beno. If his father or his son was in the pit, shel baal habayis b'tocho. Of the owner was in it.
Meaning the father, or the son, and the son of who? The son of the owner was in this board, in this pit.
Right, because it doesn't actually say, it says the father or the son in it, but it doesn't clarify whose father or whose son. So Rashi's clarifying that for us.
Right.
Mishalem es HaKofer. He pays the kofir fine. The Gemora parich es tam hu ve'amai nikat hachi. The Gemora parich is going to separate.
No, we'll ask. Usually parich is to ask.
Oh, the Gemara is going to ask about this. If it's a tam, if the goring animal is a tam, why would it? What's nakat? Nakat.
It means to literally means to choose. Why was why was this chosen? I mean, why did we choose a tam to discuss in this mission?
Okay. Because of the tam, there's no kofir usually, right? Okay.
This lashon, just to help you out with the lashon, there's such a thing as lekach, shikha, and peah.
Right.
Lekach. So the kuf test, the kuf ches with the lamed, lekach. That's what you're taking. You take the lekach. Lekach is what you're taking, right?
Right.
So
right.
so it's nekat. Nekat is to choose, or has been picked.
Oh, okay. Leket is what they drop, right?
Yes.
So it's what you take because they dropped it. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two Rashis in the Mishnah.
All right. So all the second Rashi is saying is that the Gemara is going to discuss why the Mishnah chose this particular case of a tam.
Of a tam.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be obvious that it's a kiddush that with a tam you usually don't pay what's it called? Kofir.
So
it's a kiddush. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a
we'll have to see what the point about kofir.
Right.
Very good point.
Okay. All right. Tsama. The reason for what's stated in the Mishnah, I guess, Dishalo Rishus. The reason is that he didn't have permission. So in other words, the reason that he pays is because he didn't have permission.
Yeah.
Ha Rishus. Therefore, if he did have permission, so the Gemora wants to learn a flip side. Let's just say if it says that he pays because he has permission, that implies that if he didn't have permission, he wouldn't pay.
Right. The implication is if he's obligated because he had permission. So if he, on the other side, is on the flip side, if he did have no permission, so he'd be fine.
No, I said it backwards. He doesn't have permission. That's the reason, implying if he did have permission, he wouldn't pay.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. I'm sorry. Habarishus lo mi chayav Baal Kederos Beniske. It would not be an obligation on the owner of the pots for damage. If he had permission, he wouldn't have to pay for damage to the pots. Behemto debal chatzer, that are behemto, that are in the middle of the
no, behemto of his animal.
Behemto of his animal.
Right.
Oh, because his animal, the animal of the Baal Chatzer would not be liable. Wait a second now. With permission, if he brought the pots in with permission, then the owner of the pots is not liable for damage to the landlord's animal. Oh, I see what it's saying. The reason that the owner of the pots is liable to pay for damage to the animal is because he didn't have permission to come in. Implying that if he did have permission to come in, he would not have to pay for the damage to the animal. Right?
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, let's just read the Gemora. Taima. The Gemora makes a statement. Taima.
Mm-hmm.
The law, Rishus. The reason that there is a chiyuv is he came in, right? Shelo Rishus. Ha Rishus. If he came in Rishus, lo mechai v'bala kederos l'niski behemto shel bala chatzer. That if he did come in with Rishus, you can imply that then the one who brought in his pots, the potter, right, would not be obligated in the damages to the animal of the balabais.
Right. Below Amrinan, and we do not say Kabole Kabil, he certainly accepted, Baal Kederos, the owner of the pots, Netirusa Div Hemto, something of the animal. The guarding, Tirusa is to guard?
Yeah, that's a lashon. That's that's Aramaic. It's classical Aramaic. Nitrusa.
Usually it would be Shomer, wouldn't it?
Well, because that would be lashon HaKodesh.
Right.
Ah, perfect. You've heard of the Terry Karta. Nituri Karta.
Yeah, that's a group of Jewish people.
Right, Nituri Karta.
Right.
Nituri Karta. The Nituri. Those are the watchmen of the Nituri Karta. Karta is the land. Nituri. Those are the watchmen of the land.
Oh, it's Karka.
Karta. Nituri Karta.
Nituri Karta.
It's actually Karta. Karta. That's also.
Karta is also land.
That's also Aramaic.
Interesting. I didn't know what it meant.
Nituri is the
Nituri is the watchman.
Right.
Okay, so we do not say that if he accepted, if the owner of the pots accepted to be the watchman of the animal, we do not say that the owner of the pots accepted to be the watchman of the animal. But nevertheless, we said he has to pay. Oh, so that seems to be a contradiction.
Exactly.
Okay, so pointing out a contradiction. The implication is that even without accepting responsibility, he would be accepting responsibility.
Right.
And that seems to be wrong.
Right.
The Baal Chatzer. For the owner of the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
That of the animal of the owner of the. I'm sorry, it breaks up the line and I get confused. Okay, so the implication is that the owner of the pots accepted responsibility for the animal of the owner of the courtyard. which seems odd.
Okay.
Mani, who? Who says so?
Meaning, who is this? Meaning, whose statement is this that we're
According
analyzing?
to who would it be such a thing?
Right.
Rabbi
Rebbe.
It's Rebbe.
Right. We asked who is this, and the answer was Rebbe. It's Rebbe.
The Amar that Rebbe said, Kol bis Tsama, anytime we have a plain case,
Okay.
Lo kabil alehem niturasa. Anytime we have a plain case, nothing is explicitly stated.
Right. There's been no specific agreement.
Then we do not have a receiving of responsibility for watching.
Yeah.